You're welcome to day 4 of Inspiration Week. We've had 3 past days of very engaging and insightful sessions and topics. And if you're wondering what the Inspiration Week is about, the Inspiration Week, we gather industrial specialists, that's what I call them, to come together, professionals, to come speak with you so you can gain insights into their career paths. It could be their journeys here, their stories, to spark your ideas as you all journey into your design spirit. So this night or today or this afternoon or this day, what time is you're joining from, wouldn't be any different. We have another amazing speaker. She's already on the call. Her name is Padmaja Das. Apologies, Padmaja.
All right.
And in one word, I love how she just explains, which is a champion and a fighter for justice, and I'm already excited for what this session is going to be about. I'm going to leave her to offload and explain what all of that means to us. But her session today is going to be talking about overcoming adversities. So Padmaja, right now, the floor is yours. So welcome.
Thank you. My name is Padmaja Das. I am currently a nuclear deterministic engineer for Rolls-Royce SMR, UK. So let's start my journey. So my journey is all the way from India. I was born in a small village known as Durgapur in West Bengal in India. The first 6 months of my life, my father didn't come to see me because I was born a girl child. And in Indian customs, I think baby boys are preferred over baby girls, you see. So my mother went and joined my father in Delhi later on. So my schooling was done in Delhi. Now, as a little toddler, everyone has some sort of a vision, dream. So in India, on the 26th of January every year, there is always a showcase of the armed forces because it's celebrated as the Republic Day. And I would always find the RAF. Oh, wow. Next slide, please. Thank you, Sammy. Yeah, perfect. So I would always find the Indian Air Force fly their fast jets. So as a little baby girl, I would say, Dad, I will become a fighter pilot in the Indian Air Force. And my father quickly shot me down and said, but you're a girl. Indian Air Force does not accept female fighter pilots. So as a toddler, or as just a little girl, your dreams have just come to an end at that point in time. Never mind, life gave me another opportunity. I arrived in United Kingdom in 2002. I went to South Luton High School to do my GCSEs, and soon I joined my parents in Norwich in 2003. Yes, after completing my GCSEs. Next slide, please. So during this phase, I completed my GCSEs, A-levels, etc. These are all the qualifications that I obtained over these years. The main ones were my bachelor's in aerospace engineering from Queen Mary, then master's in aerospace engineering, PGC, then executive leadership program from University of Oxford. And amongst them was one of the most important one, which is the pressurized water reactor qualifications, which was from HMS Sultan and also Rolls-Royce. Next slide, please. So my first job was in 2014. I went to HMS Sultan, which is a Royal Naval base. And I was one of the engineering instructors there, training the non-commissioned officers in engineering. So engineering maths, engineering science, thermodynamics, aerodynamics. I initially joined as DSMARI, which is the Defense School of Marine Engineering, but then transferred to RNAESS, which is Royal Naval Aerospace Engineering and Survival School. Long one, you see. And these are some of the photographs from there. one of the highlights was this is for the first time I was coming across a wardroom, which is an officer's mess. So I was being taught how to dress up, how to walk, how to talk, how to use my cutleries. I was surrounded by people in uniform. I was absolutely loving life. One of the things that I'd like to highlight, I was still having my Indian passport at that point in time. So I joined that particular job as an Indian national and quickly transitioned to a British citizen after that. Next slide, please. I quickly progressed to RF Cosford, which is Royal Air Force Cosford, again, another technical defense technical college and training college. And there I joined as a Burnham lecturer. This time round, I was training the undergraduates, so officer cadets who were aspiring to become engineering officers, and also aspects of engineering officers training. Again, I was the only female in the team, the youngest female in the team as well. I was surrounded by people in uniform. There were areas which were restricted, etc. I trained people in fast jets, fixed wings, and also rotary. By far, my fixed wings were very favorite. I also used to sit for their board to make sure that they have actually qualified on every aspect of the fixed wing aircraft, and then passed on board in order to become engineering officers. Next slide, please. So soon after this, something happened. I applied for another job and I became a senior nuclear engineer as a technical lead with Dreadnought Alliance, which is the submarine delivery agency. My job, classified information, so I can't really talk much about it. However, what I can say is that I had made sure that, as platform mechanical, there were so many aspects that was perfect. Everything had to be designed to an exceptional level. The standards that was expected was also exceptional. There was no area of, being shortfall. If that system didn't operate, your submarine's going to be at risk. So you had to be that really high standard engineer. Again, within my cohort, I was the only Asian female in my team, and again, by far the youngest one. So I had to do with that. Next slide, please. I then joined BAE Systems as well as a principal nuclear engineer. Again, the work is pretty much, as you can see, I've shortened it. It's pretty much classified work. Some of the photographs, you can see that submarine on the side. And again, highlight, I was the only female in the team, working for an elite service, making the system is operating to make sure that all our submariners are safe, those who always sacrifice their personal life in order to defend ourselves. Yes. Next slide, please. So this is, I think, the highlight of my life. So, and I'd like to share this with you. So that little girl, remember, who said I wanted to be a fighter pilot in the Indian Air Force, and I was told by my father that girls do not become fighter pilot in the Indian Air Force. I still had that dream, remember? So while I was at the university, I joined ULAS, which is University of London Air Squadron. As an officer cadet, I was allowed to fly the Grub Tutor, made loads of sorties, I believe 48-hour sorties on a Grub Tutor. Had to fire the SA-80 rifles, the camps that we went on to, learn military lifestyle as well, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you present yourself, how do you hold yourself as an officer, etc. I then, went to join the Royal Air Force as an officer, and I failed OSC, which is the Officer and Aircrew Selection Commission, 3 times. Oh, um, my dreams to wear the light blue uniform came to an end, and I was devastated. Not did I know that there was something else perhaps waiting for me. So I then went to apply the Royal Navy as a commissioned officer. And as you know, you would hope that and expect that because I now have a master's in aerospace engineering and you'd want to be an officer. And I was told straight on my face, your English is not good enough to be an officer in the Royal Navy. I came back and I was determined. So I said, fine, I'll join as an AB. So I joined as an AB in 2014. 2017, I commissioned as an officer. Remember that officer telling me I can't become an officer? That's what I did. The highlight of my life was the military lifestyle, you know. Uh, you wake up 5 in the morning, whether you like it or not. Um, it's cold outside and you're wearing shorts and you're going out for that run, regardless whether you like it or not. I remember going to Dartmoor for training camp, and this is one phase of your military career that you will never forget because there's 120 of us who arrive at Dartmoor as officer cadets, and all of a sudden you look at the dark blue lids disappear. And by dark blue lids, I mean we wear a beret, which is dark blue, and you all of a sudden see green lids coming in. They're wearing green beret, which means they're Royal Marine Commandos. And you know that they're gonna thrash you over that 1 week period. So you start crying, even looking at them. So those were the highlights. Whether, you know, I should have put my photograph with the 40 kilo on the back. I'm very proud of it. And I'm just 5 foot tall. So you can see I'm quite slim and, you know, very short as well. So that was definitely a highlight. Being trained at HMS Raleigh, which is known for its non-commissioned training, and they do a wonderful job over there to train ABs when I was not commissioned. And then I went to BR&C, which is the Britannia Royal Naval College, Dartmouth, where all the officers get commissioned from. And again, you know, having a world-reputed Navy, training myself to become a commissioned officer from a world-recognized college was definitely my highlight. One of the things that I'd like to also say here is self-awareness. Military teaches you where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are, you know, how strong-headed you are, and how you can carry on while other break. How you channel your weakness, train further to convert your weakness into strength. Military is really good at that. Next slide, please. This is an interesting slide. And I say that this is an interesting slide because I always have a cringe in me when I go through this slide. You see, when you join the military, they become your family. And some of these aspects I open up to because educating and raising awareness that what are the possibilities you might come across as a person in service. And the barriers that I did face, so you see, I was a qualified personnel as a junior rank. I didn't commission straight away. And I understand that now why I didn't. Once you start training to become a commissioned officer, and once you become part of that officer cadre, things automatically change. You have to be a certain type to fit in. And what I did find is that it is a gentleman's club. You know, there are unconscious bias. Assessments were subjective and not objective, especially the ones where you cannot prove. So written exams, I would be having 90% above, But when it came to PLTs, which was planning leadership exercises, there's no evidence, and those were quite subjective, etc. You have to get used to sexual innuendos, etc. And I come from a background where perhaps for me it's a bit uncomfortable, certain things. And the aspects for a female ethnic minority to have progression to higher ranks in the military, what were the possibilities? Even if you look at it today, then, what are the possibilities? I came across certain things that I like to not mention. All I would say is that I put a 600 pages service complaint that had 11 head of complaints, and that was submitted. I soon received a rejection, because you see, when you are marking your own homework, you are never wrong. So I knew that this was about to go down the drain pretty badly, and I thought, okay, I have two ways in front of me. One is fighting for either justice to make my Navy, that I absolutely love, a much better Navy, a much inclusive Navy for the next generation, or I shut up here and I carry on and I will get promoted. What do? I chose the first bit. I chose justice, and I wanted to make the change because I love my Navy. So during the appeal, I appealed, obviously, and while the appeal was taking place and had gotten out of the hands of the Navy, and it goes to the tri-service as such, I then took my complaint all the way to the Parliamentary Defence Committee. It went to the hands of the MP, and the MPs were shocked. That one report supported and instigated further investigations within the tri-service, which is Army, Navy, Air Force, and left, right, and center cases of bullying, harassment, misogyny, sexism, rape, sexual harassment came out. I soon lost my career in the military, but I had made an impact. I was getting messages, emails, WhatsApp messages saying thank you, because there were policies being made in the parliament to protect people and personnel who are in service. Until date, we are working on it. Next slide, please. I then, luckily, joined Rolls-Royce SMR. I joined in 2024 September. Until date, I am in there. I am responsible for any nuclear systems, and conducting all the way from HAZOPS to taking it to hazard log, to connecting it with PIE, which is the postulated initiating events, and then placing safety measures and defense in depth in order to make sure that any event does not lead any further to a nuclear disaster, such as Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, or any other nuclear disasters. So that is my job at present. So, going all the way from submarines to coming to nuclear reactors, it was an automatic transition for me. I have also been a part of REACH, which is the Race, Ethnicity, and Cultural Heritage Network, Genie, which is the Gender Equality Network, and Sentinel, which is the network for veterans, reservists, cadets, and anyone who has served within the Blue Light Service, which is our emergency services. I have made policies such as bereavement of unborn child within Genie. I have made impact on REACH, such as prayer rooms for ethnic minorities who would like to take some time out and pray, especially our Muslim brothers and sisters. Within Sentinel, I will be working towards the covenant, going from bronze to gold this year, and representing Rolls-Royce left, right, and center. Also working very closely with STEM, which is the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics within United Kingdom, left, right, and center. I also work on Sundays. Some of these roles require that I have to go to places to represent my company over weekends, etc. Next slide, please. So, from my story, what I'd like you all to take as my next generation is what are the culture change and how you can have an impact in your company or your place of work. I am an absolute advocate for joining engineering. You cannot have a better, fulfilling career than engineering, and things will break. And it is your job to make sure it does not break. And if it does break, then you make sure that it is operational again. And that's the whole challenge of it. You know, it is an extremely fulfilling career. Military career is an extremely fulfilling career. The friends that you will make from there, I still have my friend with whom I went on my interview to AIB, which is the Admiralty Interview Board for officers. Until date, we are friends. We joined together and we came out similar time as well. She's also a champion for equality and diversity. Promotes them as much as you can. Be in PR, you know. A lot of people actually say to me, you're doing this to promote yourself. And people who know me would realize and understand how difficult this is. This is absolutely nerve-wracking. I don't like public speaking, but I put myself forward, and I'll tell you why. When I was wearing the uniform, seeing an Asian female wearing a commissioned officer Navy uniform had such a massive positive impact on this generation, next generation, or the previous generation. The way you could easily motivate people. And when you put yourself in a podium like that, the influence you can do for the betterment of the organization or the betterment of the country as a whole. So you have to put yourself out there in PR. It is not for your self promotion, but it is for the welfare of the society. So please go ahead and do that. Invest in others. Machine will break and you can make another, bricks will break and you can make another house. But if people break, you can't replace them. People are the assets. People are the resources you have. They're extremely valuable. They're priceless. So you have to influence and invest in them. Don't judge people. Don't judge the organization by the act of others. So I have never held my case against the entirety of the Navy. I am still madly in love with the Navy. I still ask people to join the Navy. Just because of a few who made my life a living misery does not mean my Navy is bad. So bear that in mind. And, you know, it's not the organization ever that is at fault. It is few rotten eggs that will have a bigger influence. And that's all I would say. Skills that you require for yourself. Today I'm wearing colorless because I knew that the background was going to be very colorful, you see. But if you see me in the office, I'm the opposite. I'm very colorful. So be yourself. You have to hold your own identity. Don't try to pretend to be someone else. Don't try to get influenced through this fake facade. Start loving yourself for who you are. Everyone has weaknesses and strengths. Not only accept your strength, but also accept your weakness and take it forward. Resilience. Oh my God. If you see the amount of failures I've had in my life, whether it was in my qualifications or whether it's at workplace, you'll be like, oh my God. But you pick yourself up. You have to, you don't have a choice. Don't give up. So that's your resilience. Have a thick skin. You have to, people will say, when you get in certain position of power and authority, you will not be able to keep everyone happy. And that's fine, provided you know that your karma is clear, then carry on, please. Also, responding to people or organization or individuals with words only is not that impactful till you're silent and your actions are louder than your words. So bear that in mind. So my next mission that I'd like to hope that you take from me is unity and diversity. We all are different. We all are going to think differently. And that's the beauty of the world. We are so beautiful because we all are different. And embrace it as much as you can. Accept it as much as you can. And not everyone will think like you. And not everyone will understand you. And that is absolutely fine, provided there is respect in your way of delivery to everyone. And respecting everyone equally is extremely important. Carry on working hard. Sometimes people ask me, how many hours do you sleep a day? I'd like to not answer that question. Do work hard. When you get the fruits, it's extremely fulfilling. And for me to see the changes that I've managed to make for the women in the armed forces, the ethnic minority in the armed forces, and the policy that has been made has been really fulfilling. It costed me my career and my uniform that I absolutely love. But look at the bigger picture. What did I manage to achieve? Yes, for the betterment of others. Courage to stand against injustice. If you come across someone, have the courage to say, stop, that behavior is unacceptable. Looking out for others who are vulnerable, who are perhaps not as bold as you, and be that active bystander to say, stop, I'm not going to accept that. Whether it's for an individual, for an organization, or a nation as a whole. If you put your ethos, your core value, and your karma correctly, you will see justice will be given. And finally, resilience, don't give up. Next slide, please. So this is one of the photographs that the first Sea Lord used to have outside his office. And he knew me by my first name, is don't leave chance to change to chance. Reason being, from day one, I had fought for equality. Equality for gender, equality for BAME, which is Black, Asian, minority ethnicity, and equality for every individual. Therefore, I believe that he had made sure that they had captured this photograph and put that title underneath it, and carry on inspiring others. Next slide, please. So, per Adua and Adastra, that is an RAF coat, by the way, and through adversities to the stars is what this all presentation was about. I hope that you learned a bit from it. You can add me on LinkedIn, and if you ever want to talk to me, just drop me a message, and guess what? I will respond. Next slide, please. So what I did put in here was, I guess you all are guys and girls who are aspiring for a career, and the UK has visa restrictions and immigration restrictions. So I have put a link there for you guys, because I do believe that there are some apprenticeship programs coming up for international personnel, which is brilliant. And if that is the case, guess what? Rolls-Royce would also be recruiting. However, SMR recruits only British because we deal with nuclear. But at present, I cannot say whether it's going to be in line with the government policy or not. So I've given you both the websites. So kindly have a look. And whenever the apprenticeship programs come live, what's the harm in applying? What's the worst going to happen? It's going to say you're not a British national, but at least you know where you stand. So absolutely go ahead and apply. Next slide, please. Thank you. Any questions for me?
Wow. That's just all I can say. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your story, for sharing your journey, and just being so open and inspiring. I think this is what this entire program is about. This is why we call different people from different backgrounds, different journeys to come and speak and inspire. You know, you just don't hear this every time. And I'm sure from the responses we're seeing, I can see that a lot of people have been inspired. So thank you so much, Padmaja, for coming to share your story and for the opportunity. So, everyone, the links are currently in the chat, so please make use of them. And yes, thank you so much. Because of time, we might only be able to take a few questions. If you have any questions, I'll just go over. So, one of the questions says, how did you push through the sexism and bullying? Who are the people who really helped you through your journey?
You'll be surprised. No one helped me through the service complaint because when you start writing about bullying and harassment, you will tend to find who your friends are during difficult days of your life, who your true friends are, yeah? And you'll be surprised how many you're left with. I just started carrying on writing down, and I was hoping for justice straight away. However, you see, when you're serving in a fighting force that goes to war, if you start pinpointing people left, right, and center, you will start reducing the numbers. And as you know, in a volatile world that we're in, we need the numbers. So no, I didn't have anyone supporting me. I wrote my case by myself, the 600 pages, as I say. And yeah, if that answers your question.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think your story feels like it should be in a book. But just so I don't waste more time, I'll just go through all the other questions. One is about the military, and I'm also curious. It says, if you're 5 foot, how did you make it into the military?
Sorry, say that again, please.
It said, if you're 5 foot, how did you make it into the military?
Right. Yes, so submarine has very small surface area, isn't it? So for a 5 foot, it's actually perfect. For 6 foot, they have to duck their head. How's perfect height? But keeping that aside, there is no height restrictions in the armed forces in United Kingdom. I think the only height restriction that you would have is for connecting to the emergency, which I could within the submarine service. But even if you want to become a Royal Marine, there's no height restrictions, provided you can pass your fitness test, which I did numerous times, provided you can carry those 40 kilos bags, etc., for the infantry, if you're training for them, then yes, there is no height restrictions.
Thank you so much. I want to take as many questions, but we're really like, we have to be very mindful of time. One last question says, if we're always loving ourselves, how do we know which areas to improve? So basically, I think learning how to love yourself. So how do you know areas to improve in that journey?
I think life will teach you that. I think life is a beautiful way to learn so much about yourself. When you love yourself, don't disrespect the comments of others. And sometimes there will be friends, family members, mothers are a brilliant reflection of you and your weakness. Your mother will always pick up that mirror and say, look at yourself, mate. I know my mother does that even now. Um, but yes, I think if you listen to others, take on board what criticism they have given you, convert that criticism to an aspect to be worked on. Be mindful about yourself, have self-respect, reflection, whether you do carry those aspects or not, or has the other person misunderstood you completely. And if you do feel that, yes, that is something to be worked on, do work. But at the same time, love yourself. And by loving yourself, I mean respect yourself. You know, the world around you is going to be extremely harsh. They are going to be picking up negative left, right, and center. So, although you reflect, you better yourself, but at the same time say, I'm going to be kind to myself. I am going to pray. I am going to go to my mother and give her that hug that I need today to feel that there is this person that I can come to who's going to love me regardless of who I am. So that is the self-love I want you to do for yourself.
Thank you so much, Padmaja. We could have you for the whole evening, but unfortunately, we have to let you go now. Thank you so much
Absolutely.
for sharing your story, for sharing your journey. I'm sure everyone on the call you've left them feeling more inspired. So thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or your evening or wherever you are right now. Thank you so much.